tukwaniriza olunaku olwaleero okubanga otwegasseko ku program perception olinange Grand Abbot da West Zulu nga tusinzidde Makindye Kampala Kizungu okubanga tukutuusaako program eno ya perception. Era mu program etuyigira ebyensuso ne tumanya ebintu bingi ebyenjawulo naddala bye twetaaga okubanga tuvumbula ebimu ebibadde bikwekeddwa nga birimu kwegamba amagezi amakweke agabadde tegamanyikiddwa mu bantu abamu abasinga, era nga ntwala omukisa oba olukusa luno okusobola okubanga ngezaako oba nga nsumulula ebyo ebimu ebiringa ebyakwekebwa ku magezi aga omusono ag'ensuso. Era kino kikuleetera okuvaayo n'osobola nga owevumbula n'obeera nga oyina embeera gy'osobola okubanga ogula eriiso lyo eryokusatu. Era eriiso eryo eryokusatu tulina kubanga tuligula na kufuna magezi matuufu oba nakumanya na kuvumbula ebyo bituufu ebyakwekebwa. Season eno gye tulimu nagamba nja kuba nnyo mu nsonga ez'enjawulo, ezimu nagamba tebazisomesa walala okujjako wano, naye nga sinatuuka ku saidi eyo. Olina omanya nti obulamu bwasuulibwa mu nsi, era obulamu busuuliddwa mu nsi, era ekitangaala ne kisuulibwa mu kizikiza, emyoyo ne gisuulibwa mu mubiri. It expresses, kivaayo ne kiraga the original violence done to other people in making or to me as an African, in making me be where I am and what I am. You pick the statement. Uganda life has been thrown into the world, and light into the darkness, and the souls into the body. So it expresses the original violence done to me in making me be where I am and what I am. There is that original violence that was done against you. We call it the passivity of your choice with less emergence into an existing world which you do not make and whose laws is not yours. That is very terrible. Amateka gotambulirako sigago. It was handed to you by someone who never asked from you whether you can pass those laws. Otambula ku mateeka agayisibwa abatakwebuzaako oba otambulire ku mateeka. They call them standards. Zolina okubeera nga otambuliramu. That is not, it's not digestible when tunula, because mbanjagala to be part of my own making. I told you I'm the captain of my soul, so I have to choose where the compass has to face, which direction jengendo kwata, not someone to choose for me a direction because I subscribe to their belief system, because I subscribe to their mode of miseducation, because they forced me to adopt a name which is bogus and is not connected to my reality, that I should move in a specific trend to follow a trail of hoodwinked folks who don't know who they are in the first place. I don't want to be part of that system, okay? Sagalira dala. When the brains become too tired, black folks, the mind stops decrypting the perceptions in our mental world and surrenders willingly to the unguarded moments of life. Ekyo ino chimanya. nti obwongo bwammwe oba obwongo bwaffe bufuuka obukoowu, obwongo bulekeraawo okubreakinga down ensonga zetufuna mu ndowooza y'ensi gye tulimu ey'okujweteka n'obwongo, era nowesanga nga obwongo bwo buwanise nga bukkiriza okuba nga butambulira ku mbeera z'obulamu ezitalina security. Tell somebody next to you, never let yourself to lose your intellectual vigilance. Kasitoba nga toina bwekumu ku bwongo, you are not vigilant about your intellect, you are going to swallow all the poisons of the planet by those minds who have beguiled and messed you up in the first place. Okitegeera? Oyina okubanga okitegeera nti obwongo, when the brain becomes too tired and the mind stops decrypting the perceptions in our mental world and surrenders willingly to the unguarded moments of life, what happens? For some time, the safeguards of our thinking patterns weaken and discontinue the decoding of the chips of daily reality. What happens after? Nkugambe mukasera akamu, safeguards ezendowooza zaffe engeri gye tulowoozamu, the thinking patterns, they weaken, ne zirekeraawo, and they discontinue okubanga zitematema information, encoded information. They don't decode. The minds now are not decoding what has been encoded to the chips of our daily reality. And one of the chips is religion. Another chip is called politics. I told you bana babeera berowooza enkya tugenda kufuga linde ekibiina kyaffe aba UPC, you know, abantu ba UPC, they told me for years babeeranga ku Uganda House, one day we shall come back to the chair and we shall treat these people that will know that we are the real politicians. Such conditions, we call them political wet dreams. Okay? Mulimu political wet dreams. You know a wet dream, you dream to webase no mwagalwa nga tuwebase naye. The body pretends as if it's having the joy, but it wasn't there. So things like political wet dreams, where religion has come in there. Now there is medical terrorism, ngabolaba, ebibeera perception. So for some time, if we surrender willingly to the unguarded moments of life, kitegeeza the thinking patterns of ourselves, they weaken, zikendera, and when they weaken, they discontinue the decoding of chips of daily reality. You don't. And what happens? The mind in that state, it picks the instants which are above suspicion, pure and innocent. Nsonga eyo obwongo bulonda ebyo ebiriwo bye bisuubiriza bibulaba nga biri pure nga tebiri innocent. They fail to tackle issues as the way they are supposed to be tackled. So because tebalina intellectual vigilance, they are swallowing everything. Now the messenger, Grand Abbott, becomes the target for your mental pollution. Your blame of not knowing how the world is moving, you try to target someone who has told you what you don't know. So that is a problem. And if the problem persists, it's trouble. Because I told you, nagamba okulemererwa kwaffe si kiri nti tulonze mazima oba kulonda ku nsi oba kubeera ku ggulu. Our failure is not that we choose earth over heaven. It is that we fail to see the divine in the earth, already active and working, pouring forth grace and spilling glory in our lives from the divine entity of Africans. Artists, whether they be professed believers or not, tap into this grace and glory. And there is a terrible beauty operating throughout creation. If at all the procreation of reality has been subjugated by people with, how do we call them, prejudices or prejudice against the will of those who think free. Then there is not going to be anybody holding onto the mantle of uniformity. So bear with me. You have been held by the, we call them the neocons. I remember breakfast in Africa nasome seyitibwa PNAC, PNSC, the neocon manifesto. PNAC, a program of the new American century. Okay, with their neocon manifesto nga eina a variety of things mubijukira abaliko breakfast in Africa ataliko olabye bisere ebyo olabye oba tomanyi PNAC, the neocon manifesto. Ezo zonna entities engeri how they program these things. I remember teaching something called sutuarism ku nsonga ze twali twogerako, and how they said they dedicate this to the vulgar many. Right at the vulgar many. Again, they call you the useless eater. Now, if I'm trying to awaken you as a best thing that comes and trickles and stings your brain to wake up as an African, and then not undercover diary and daddala ng'obuzibu bw'amaanyi, oyinza okutwegatta ku lugendo luno naye oyinza butatuukayo naffe kubanga luyinza okuzibuwalira. Okay, because we build entirely new systems for connecting to our self-consciousness when the institutions, whether the Methodists, Lutherans, Baptists, Catholics, when they have already been created, they have been created already, and they are there for the greatest badness of you. But we build entirely new systems to connect ourselves to the African consciousness. Tuzimba bulungi nnyo system ezituconnectinga. Why? Because maybe the same essential download was also being derived to other people, or could be a massive compassionate battalion of us at the same time. Okay, so let's construct what we call a compassionate battalion. A battalion based, grounded on the philosophical teachings as black people, as abantu abadugavu, as the welfare of our people, and then is interested in teaching and pinning out the secret knowledge that has been hidden, yet it was stolen from you in the first place. Kati ne bagikweka nozabali ku Facebook ku page kwe muli mu streaminga mujja kuba musoma byonna nga mubiraba tugenda. So by all means kitwetagisa okubanga tujayo embeera zino era because of this we have to be eyewitnesses of a journey that we began. Lugendo luno lwe twatandika. We have to have that influence of such a thinking that really touches the minds of the black people, that tells them, wake up, stand up. Tekyetaaga oba omanyikiddwa wa oba wa oba baani so long as you have the badge of honor, which is the black color, is the badge of honor. Kasoba olina badge akabonero k'obuwanguzi ak'ekitiibwa, nze nkukakasa tugenda kuba tutambula olugendo luno. Tegeera era bwe tuba tulutambula tujja kuba nga tugendera ddala mu nsonga ezo ennungi ez'enjawulo. Then it will be including us. Kijaba nafe kitu including, because we call it passing from the secretaries of the law itself. If we pass it through the secretaries of laws itself, it is asserted that it was impossible that a religion which consisted only of blood sacrifices and performing ceremonies, and whose rewards as well as punishments were all of a carnal and temporal nature, could inspire the love of virtue or restrain the impetus of passion. So we can't accept that. Just one thing, one man, his blood washed all the sins of the world. So long as white folks can do sins against you, their sins were covered by a baby, a youth who was sacrificed at the age of 33, if he had existed historically. And then they call him the light of the world, the man who has passed through all the lifestyle. That's what they tell you. I never saw him in Antarctica, in that continent down there. I don't know whether if he had existed, he knew the penguins. So you can't tell me all that garbage. I don't buy it. Now let's go inside into the topic and we do some decrypting. We are going to be decrypting the office over the Orphic egg and the embryo. Now follow very well topic jetugenda ogenda. We are decrypting. There is a P between Y and T. What P between Y and T? Mr. Producer Jabaji Teresa. It's decrypting. There is P masekatiga Y in T. Decrypting the Orphic egg. Now nayo tusobole. Yes, good. That is the statement. Let's also go there. Tusobole okubayo nga tugezako ku decryptinga. Tulabe all these things. Bibabuzabuziza abamu nnyo, but I don't see. Why do you get lost on simple things? Okay. Kati ke kaseera tuberenga nabyo tubiyingiramu. We shall see what is really needed. Kubanga now this time the brains are not too tired, okay? The mind will not stop decrypting the perceptions in our mental world. You shouldn't surrender willingly to the unguarded moments of life as we enter tuyingira mu nsonga eno ennyo. Gwendese olwaleero siri wa Luganda nnyo siri wa Luganda nnyo kubanga mulimu abagamba waliwo ate wootuleka mu Luganda ate nga naye sirumanyi nnyo naye nga ndumanyi, then ate nga tuba tulukwasaganya mu mbeera zonna nga bwe zeetaaga wano nga tudecryptinga the Orphic egg. Now there is what is called the gnostic serpent and its egg. When we go into what they call gnostic studies, simanyi oba wano, okay, those studies are not here, teziriwo wano, but if we go into these studies, zandibadde a study ekwasaganya to the relation of knowledge, what we call esoteric mythical knowledge. Ebiri esoteric kitegeeza intended for or likely to be understood or overstood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge of interest or interest. So esoteric oba esoteric ESOTERIC kwegamba kiba kiri intended, kirina ekigendererwa kyakyo kibeerenga kitegeerwa enamba entini ey'abantu abalina amagezi ag'enjawulo, special knowledge ne interest. So era ebiseera ebisinga these we discuss them mu kyetuyita esoteric philosophical debates, okubaganya ebirowoozo ku ago amagezi agamanyikiddwa abatini era nga abalala okugamanya walina okubaayo agamanyi ajja atandika okugabannyonnyola. Akitegeera that wasn't in any of your classes. It wasn't there. because there is a group ey'abantu abavayo to hide codes eziri related ku ancient. Nagamba bw'otunuulira mu nsi yonna tewaliyo somo lisoma ku bantu specifically bakika ekyo nga ffe nga bwe basoma ku baddugavu. There is a study called Egyptology. Okay? A study called Egyptology. It is dedicated kusoma ku bantu baddugavu n'amagezi gaabwe ago ag'omusono era agawuumisa emitwe gy'abo abaali balowooza nti kiki kino ne beebuuza how come these blacks have done this, baakikola batya. In Egyptology tojja kusangayo study gye bayita Romanology mu nsi yonna. You will not find Romanology, you will not find Chinology, tewajja kubaayo Greekology, there is no Americology, it is only Egyptology. It's study gye batandikawo in fact okugezaako nga bajekenneenya from history, because bagamba Egyptology is the ancient study of the ancient blacks of the Egyptian world, language, literature, religion, architecture, science and art from the 5th millennium BC. 5th millennium BC, okuva emyaka 5000 BC yatako buno bwake 2019. Those are how many years? 719 years. So just from 5 or 5th millennium BC paka ku nkomekerezo until the end of its native religious practices in the 4th century AD. 4th century baba bategeza myaka gya bisatu sibina. 4th century myaka egy'omu bisatu. That is when they burned the library of Alexandria in 391 by the Babylonian army eyali ereeteddwa the bishop of Alexandria connecting with the bishop of Rome ayitibwa Theodorus II. Najja with the Babylonian army and they burnt down the great library of Alexandria with the Serapeum Muyo. That's how they stopped the belief of the Africans in 391. Buli yagano okukiriza was burned, raped, decapitated. Decapitation is kujjako omutwe, and they were deracinated systematically from their practices, what we call medieval practices. And what happened? The church got some of the scholars bebalina abali basomye mu Africa abamaze convertinga. After they forced them to get that ancient knowledge, ne decoding to hide it away. To hide it away from these people, tebaddamu to access that knowledge, to construct another pure generation, because the whites wanted to subjugate and take over the blacks. So they formulated a creed in there. You know, they call it philological discipline. Okay, it's called the philological discipline, but it was a creed. Hide all the information, get it. Now, such people, there are those ones who are not biased in the first place. We see Herodotus Avayo, he knows what the blacks have done. We are talking. We see Strabo, Nayavayo from the Greeks. Those ones, they come before distortion. We have Diodorus Siculus, then we have Pliny the Younger, Pliny the Elder. But one of the greatest works was the chronology of Manetho, Manetho. He was a priest in the temples. Yali mubulizi mu abulira enjiri eyandibadde eya Kepra, eya Pata, Amenra, the African spiritual Shishata system. In the periods when Ptolemy the first were Yaja and Ptolemy the second, that is the 3rd century BC. Because the Greeks came in 332 BC under Alexander the Barbarian, all the Greek. So Manetho had all this work and was taken away from him and then they began to hide. Now when the Muslims were bajja, because the Muslims come in 414, binakuminena 414 AD, as recent for binakuminena AD, they come. Now they have teachers abavayo. They begin to also get the information and still hide it away from the black folks. Abantu nga itibwa Abdul Latif al-Baghdadi. Abdul Latif al-Baghdadi yaja from the university itibwa ya Al-Azhar. They renamed it Al-Azhar, but it wasn't for Al-Azhar in Cairo. Their role was to sit and study the monuments z'abadugavu ne scriptures zonna eziri ku antiquity, hide them away from the black folks, take them completely, so that this information ereme kubanga ekomawo. So ba historian nga ayitibwa Al Mazirizi oba Makwiziri, Makwirizi, Al Makwirizi, AL-MHURIZI, Makwirizi. They began also to write work hiding this secret knowledge done by the black people. Again, the faggots come in back, the Europeans, they come and distort. They call it a more scientific approach. Abantu nga Cloud Scad, he comes in there. Omuntu aitibwa Benito de Meiret, naye najja. Frederick Louis Snowden, ewamu n'omulala aitibwa Richard Pacoki. Nkugambye Cloud Scad is S-I-C-A-R-D. Netuba ne Benito de Meiret, netuba ne Louis aitibwa Frederick Louis Snowden, omulala nabiranga aitibwa Richard Pacoki. They began to try to paint away ebifaananyi ebifaanana blacks. They began to paint bifuuke byeru. Ewalala they were plastering, bakubawo plaster, like as the Muslims they did ku the pyramids. Bagenda kuba pyramids zaliko omusenyu ogumasamasa ekiro bulungi ogulimu gundi gwa granite omutini, ne baguchizolinga off to go and construct their mosques in Cairo, destroying civilization that don't belong to them. Okay? Bantu ngabo netuba abantu nga John Gravis yajja myaka gya 16 n'atandika okubala pyramids, n'amenya Orphic eya Domitian mu 1646. He broke ezo Orphic eziyimiridde ng'alowooza erimu gold, with the white man's invaders mentality of idiots and stupidity and arrogance of the highest order. Because of their own benefit, robbery and thuggery, najja n'amenya Orphic eya Domitian mu mwaka gwa 1646, looking for treasures. Then in Rome, nesindika Bajesuit, those are soldiers of Christ, the assassins of the Catholic Church. Okay, go by to Ananthius creature. Now Ananthius creature, his role was to take away everything. Era under Vatican, they have a vault again at Dalamu acres in Kaga, 60 acres of a vault. One say, remember about the 44 hectares, but they have 60 hectares of a vault that has information about the ancient African people. Era the egyptology they begin to sponsor by the Catholic Church to hide this esoteric information from blacks, to take away whatsoever. That's how they began to capture Egypt. The British came and captured it from the French, and again what Jibaiteri Rosetta Stone, Jetwalaba. And then they began in 1822 to take away the information and write falsehoodness, so that you may not get that is right. And that one we call it is in academic discipline, it is not accepted, because they are not doing the right thing. But Samuel Barichi, Emmanuel de Ronge, Henrik Bassaji, Germany, Flinders Patry, who is another fool there? James Henry Breasted, yali mu Nubia n'asoma nyawo mu Ethiopia n'okudde eno. He is known for what is called the epigraphic survey, establishing the monuments eziri wow, the epigraphic survey. So those guys, they came and hanged whoever a gun, and that's how they went and destroyed the secret knowledge. Now, if we go to the secret knowledge, let's go to that book and we begin to see what they call of the serpent and the egg. Mu kitabo ekyo kyowina kigamba the ancient symbol, akabonero akakadde ndi mukutegeeza kati obeere ng'omanya. Tusigaze dakiika 7. Now in 70 minutes, sit very well and learn. Okay? Akabonero akakadde, if we go in the book, the ancient symbol of the serpent, omusota nga gwetoolodde eggi. Kabonero ako baka attributinga kwabo aba mythical founders abatamanyikiddwa abatandika kye tuyita the Orphic ministries oba eyitibwa ya Ophiuchus oba Ophiuchus. That thing has something very special you don't know, that now you are going to know about lunaku olwaleero. Linda bagenda kuba bakuwa akataba ako tujja kubanga twekenneenya. Yes, bagambye akabonero ako kalaga omusota nga gwetoolodde G. Okay, kali attributed kuyatandikawo eyitibwa Orphic ministries oba mysteries ebitamanyikiddwa ebya Orphic ebiyitibwa Orpheus. Orpheus bamutwalanga legendary musician, poet oba prophet mu ancient Greek religion ne myth. Era abalala bamuyita the Tarachian origin okuzinzira ku bitabo ng'ebya Cezetes, Tzezetes, mu kibuga ekya Odrysian city ekya ekitibwa Bisorotia. Abo buyimba bwe bakuba Orpheus mukamanyi bulungi. It holds the same name. So it was a religion centered on the teachings of the origin of life. Yali nzikiriza oba esimbye sira mu kusomesa okulaga entandikwa y'obulamu, okuddamu okutondebwa nga webaka n'omukyala wo naye newebakana nemukkiriza ne muzaala omwana, which we call procreation. Okay, ewamu n'okubanga esomesa kye tuyita immortality, obutagwawo obutafa, then mortality okufa kw'omubiri, soul nesigala, creativity obuyiiya ne wisdom amagezi. Kugambye esomesa origin y'obulamu. Remember, human beings began in Africa, here in East Africa, at the foothills of the mountains of the moon, in the Great Lakes and nowhere else. They were studying where the humans began from. Procreation is to produce a younger one, or to reproduce. Okuzaala, immortality, okusigalawo n'otagenda n'osigala ng'osobola crossinga from spiritual life n'okomawo in this life, okufuuka ng'omusambwa oba omuzimu. Mortality, oli n'afiira ddala n'agenda ne gutadda, ne kye tuyita creativity ewamu n'amagezi. Nkitegeera. So mu kitabo bagambye nti the emblem of the law guy, emblem yandibadde nga akabonero akandibadde akamanyi. Otugamba ekigambo emblem, ekigambo emblem kiba kitegeeza kabanga ka device, we call them heraldic device oba a symbolic object of a distinctive badge of a nation, organization or a family. Kalinga kabonero kalama kali awo eyakabonero ako of the logi all self born akokwezaalibwa. The Gnostic Christians were reborn again into the immortal light of their own gnosis. They began to come abasajja bano after knowing all the secret knowledge, kubanga nkugambye bwe tutunuulira abasajja bano nti Gnosticism yaabwe it's a prominent heretical movement yatandikibwawo mu century eyokubiri ekyey'ekyokubiri nga kitandikibwawo church katolika partly wansi wa eyali the pre-Christian origin. Era doctrine yasomesa the world was created and ruled by lesser divinity and the manga, and that Christ was a mystery of the remote supreme daimon being, esoteric knowledge or gnosis of whom enabled the redemption of human spirit. They don't teach him as a person who has ever existed at all. This the church knows already. They already know. They set an agenda. They know it is not true, but they hold you accountable for that lie, yet they hide the truth into themselves. That's why in Kugambe we call it esoteric information and knowledge. So that was kubanga ovayo. Kabonero kabwe bagambe the first emanating from this egg okusooka okuvaayo okwejjirino kunnyonnyolwa mu kayimba akakadde era akayitibwa Fenes Dinosia, the personification of light. If we scroll down wansi netulaba the first emanating for this egg, from this egg ennyonnyolwa mu hymn enkadde. Hymn ziba nnyimba za nzikiriza era nga lwali olwo oluyitibwa Fenes Dinosia. Muwekeneenyaawo etibwa Fenes Dinosia. Era nagamba Dinosia aba katonda wa theatre, mizannyo, bintu ntuwe bityo, era nga akwasaganya ennyimba n'ebirala. Era kalaye oba kalaye gye batera okukozesa mu nsonga za music basiiga wansi ku maaso, basigako langi enzirugavu. Bye mulaba abakazi abo abayimba nga basiize ku bisige ebiddugavu wansi w'eriiso eno wali buno obwoyo obulala. That is oba owa Dinosia, tetwandibadde nga homage oba Fenes. Ndi kasitola bawulinga asiize wano ku maaso wansi waago langi ya black, just ali mu kuwa Dinosia kituyita, they call it Elicapuas mu lulimi luno olwa ensoma zino eziri esoteric zotamanyi, bakiyita Elicapuas. Era Elicapuas is ERICAPAUS. mu nsonga eso it would be Dinosia. Wetwekenneenya nga kitwalibwadde personification of light, ekitangaala okubanga kifuuliddwa obujja ng'omuntu. Ejja eryo weritandikira tujja kuba tulyekenneenya mu maaso eyo obanga twekenneenya lwaki. Ne lugamba mu nsoma z'Ekigiriki eza mythology Wakayima ne wangu, naddala endowooza eza Orphic thoughts, endowooza ezikwasaganya ku ggi eryetoolodde omusota. Fenes aba gye bayita golden winged hermaphrodite primordial being, aba muntu wa zaabu ng'alina ekitonde ekikazi n'ekisajja, ng'alina ebiwawaatiro. Kitegeeza ekyo kye kitegeeza okubanga si golden winged hermaphrodite primordial being who was hatched from the silver shining cosmic Orphic age, eyava mu ggi eryo oba eyayalulwa mu ggi erimasamasanga silver era eriringa ery'obulamu lituyita Orphic age. Lwaki bagambye nti it is golden winged hermaphrodite primordial being? When they say nti ayina hermaphrodite, ayina ekitonde ekikazi n'ekisajja. That's why you have the Y chromosome mugwe, and then you have the X chromosome. Oyinamu sperms oba spermatids ezivaayo nga zizaala mwana muwala, which is XX, ne tuba ne XY oba ey'omusajja determining omulenzi gogenda okubanga okola ki ozaala. So the egg, it was a hermaphrodite okulaga nti kirina the male part and the female part. Okitegeera? So these guys, after getting this information, they called it the protogonos. In the book bagambye bakiyita protogonos. Protogonos oba ekitegeeza firstborn. Ewamu nayitibwa eros ekitegeeza love, nga kitegeeza being the seed of God and man. Fenes kitegeeza manifesta oba omuvumbuzi, derivira. Fenes means the manifesta or revealer, and is related ku kigambo eky'Olugiriki ekigamba ekitangaala oba okwakayakana, to shine forth. We've heard words like he is the light of the world, he is the revealer of truth, manifestation of God's power through him. Stuff was stolen long time ago, brothers. Let's go and see. Netugamba ancient Orphic hymn mu buyimba obwo obumu obukwasa ejjeryo mwe lyogererwa. Buyimba buvayo ne bu addressinga the serpent thus, nga serpent bagita batya ogwo musoto gwetolodde ejji guyitibwa ineffable, okay, hidden ne mubaamu brilliant, Sion. You know, when they say ineffable, kitegeeza too great or extreme to be expressed or described in words. Ineffable tekinyonyolekeka mu bigambo kyamaanyi nnyo tomala gakyogera. Kati gye bayita brilliant Sion, amanyi gye bayita Sion kwegamba yandibadde nga bwogamba nti ekikajjo kasita okitema bwoti nekitandika okumerukayo layini empya nga bwotema omuti nekuvaako akavuddeko akalala. That is called a Sion. It's a younger shoot or what is called a twig of a plant. Naddala ng'okoze grafting oba ng'otemye ku mirandira n'otema kati awate ne wavayo plant endala. That is called a Sion, ensigo empya evuddeyo. So mu kitabo bagambye the brilliant Sion, ensigo ey'amagezi. Ne baddamu ne bagamba whose notion is whirring. Whose notion is whirring. Wetuddayo wali eri mu kitabo bajja kulaga his notion is whirring. Baba bategeeza ki when they say it is to whirring? Kwetoloola. Erinnya lye kwegamba n'embeera ye ennyonnyolwa mu ngeri nnyingi nnyo ezandibadde ez'enjawulo nti buli wamu waali. Ne waddamu ne wagamba you scattered the dark mist that lay before the eyes, and flapping your wings you whirled about, and through this world you brought pure light. That is in what is called the Orphic hymn. Kavudone kagamba kogera to the serpent like this. Atayogera the ineffable, that's in the book kyetuli mu kusomako. The hidden, omukweke, ineffable tayogerwako kiryawo, teri bigambo bisobola munnyonnyola. Yensigo engezi ennyo, the brilliant Sion, whose motion is whirring. Buli wamu gyali asangibwayo. You scattered the dark mist. Yasaasanya yandibadde nga kalenge oba olufu olw'oluddugavu oluvaayo ne lugwa ku maaso gaffe. And flapping n'owube buwawaatiro byo n'okubanga weegugunga mu kwetolwamu gwe ng'oyita mu nsi eno okuleeta ekitangaala ekituufu. Now waliyo eyitibwa de Daven papyrus. Daven papyrus nagamba papyrus zaali nga mpandiika zedda kwe bawandiikanga abasajja abo Abafirika, era kye baakolanga bavangayo ne bakwata ekitoogo ne bakisala ne bajjamu akakeeru munda. Bwe bajjamu akakeeru munda ne bakagatta n'akalala ne bikala ne bawandiikako, era mwe muva ekigambo paper mu papyrus. Kati mu Daven papyrus evaayo netegeeza fens oli gwe twalabye, that is now Greek. wansi ojafuna translation naye kankutegezeko Daven papyrus Macedonian papyrus scroll bajja ne bagiwandikako after learning how to read and write Macedonians abava mu Corinth jukira bakola their voyage okujja mu Africa beginning from 451 BCE wansi waitibwa the Council of Corinth wansi wa Philip of Macedonia tata wa Alexander the Barbarian. So the Navi papyrus eno eriko endagano, we call them philosophical treatises ezirina ebigambo ebiri allegoric commentary ku Orphic poem. A theogony eraga the birth of gods nga bazalibwa mu saako ezaba philosopher ayitibwa Anaxagoras. That is in that Daven papyrus cheriko mukwogera naye nga bagiwandiika mu mwaka gwa 340 BC 340 BCE mu biseera bya Philip II of Macedonia owa Corinth oba taata wa Alexander the Barbarian. The Greek nevumbulwa nga 15 January 1962 mu kifo ekya Dravani mu Macedonia mu North Greek ku luguudo oluyitibwa the Thessaloniki to Kavara oba Thessaloniki to Kavara, oluguudo lwa Thessaloniki olukutwala mu Kavara we bagisanga mu Dravani Macedonia 1915 mwezi gwa Gatonya mambuka ga Greece weri mu kwa addressinga on such incidents oba ezikwata ku Phoenix. Kati etugambye the Draven papyrus Phoenix emogera ketia katudde ku kitabo that is Greek na kuteredo script ya Greek. Now tujja kuba tugenda mu luzungu kitegeeza ki mu luzungu egamba of the firstborn king owa eyasooka okuzaalibwa kabaka of the firstborn king ye yasooka ozaalibwa nga kabaka nga ye firstborn the revered one, and upon him that all immortals grew, blessed gods and goddesses and rivers and lovely springs and everything else that had been born, and he himself became the sole one. Scripture mwina we mujimanyi. Do you know that scripture somewhere? We told dayo mu kitabo egambye nti mu Devani papyri nkugambya wandika mwaka gwa 340 mu Macedonia era mu biseera ebya Philip II owa Macedonia oba nga bamaze otuula mu ndagano expedition zabwe z'okujja zatandika mu 451 nga batuula mu gye bayita the Council of Corinth nga the Macedonian bagala kulumba to take over North Africa and its civilizations zonna bazetwale. Now Philip I n'asookawo tata wa Philip II. Philip II azaala Alexander the Barbarian, all the Greek, nothing great about him. Ne bamanya all these good things that are in there, the life of gods. In fact, all the Greek gods were born from an island controlled by the blacks, gye bayita Crete. Yona mythology wabwe mwaba katonda from the island in the Mediterranean Sea controlled by the blacks. Tujja kuba tuchekenenya olabe how it's too deep, how they messed up your system buli kimu ne bakibba. So let's go back to the book. Kitugambye of the firstborn king, the revered one, and upon him all immortals grew. Bona. And let's scroll down from the Greek phrase from Drevani papyrus. Let's scroll down. Okay, that is what it means. The Greek oligolabye waggulu agamba ndi the firstborn king kabaka asooka okuzaalibwa, the revered one, oyo yennyini gwe batwalira ddala okubanga, you know when they say the revered baba bategeeza feel deep respect or admiration for that one gwe beegomba ennyo, the one upon all the immortals grew, oyo ku bonna abatafa kwe baakulira, blessed gods bakatonda abalina emikisa ne ba goddesses bakatonda abakyala n'abaami abalina emikisa, emigga ewamu n'emirala enkulukuto z'amazzi egiringa emiga, lovely springs and everything else that had been born byonna ebyazaalibwa, and he himself became the sole one. Ye mwenyini nafuka omu. In the beginning it was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was Christ, and the Word was the light, and he became. That is the phrase. Now that phrase yawandikibwa ku Drevani Papyrus mu mwaka gwa 340 before the concept of Jesus. Nga concept ya Council ya Nicaea ya 325 AD tenatula. There is a gap of 600 years. Walo gap y'emyaka lukaga before the Jesus concept of Yeshua Amashak dropping onto the scene, coming onto the scene. Before that concept, before that new kid on the block called Jesus or Yeshua coming onto the statement Zebagamba, they were there a long time ago. The Macedonians had written them about Dionysia Phoenix as the serpent, the firstborn and whatsoever. In the year 340 BCE, in fact, Dionysia of the Orphic tradition is intimately connected to protogonos. Okay? Now, wajja kuba wawo obuzibu ku kigambo protogonos. Kubanga togambye erinnya eddala eri lye bamuyita, they would call him protogonos. Now, Grand Abbot, what is protogonos in a simple phrase? So, era aba atambulanga friends oba amanyikiddwanga is a commentary ayogerwako mu reference mweyitibwa epimechuris oba eyitibwa pinda mu nsonga eyo. Era bw'owulira ze bayita protogonos teachings zitegeeza ku a divine spirit associated with some kind of some chaos oba kujjawo chaos oba kyetuyita primogenolite ekitangaala engeri gye kijja, which is called the Logioc ray, nga impregnating somebody called Sophia. We shall know all of these things, who is Sophia and who is called the deity of the week, katonda wa week. Mu kyetuyita Orphic hymn 30, oluyimba olw'eddiini eya ekwasaganya Orphic G nga bwe tugenda. Yes, that's what we are speaking about protogonos, and then the impregnation of Sophia, the egg coming and causing her to conceive. In there is waliwo ebintu bye tulina okudamu tuberengera tuddamu twekeneenyaawo nti ku hymn eyasatu yaweebwa eziyitibwa epitith ezandibadde nga ekimuleetera okubanga akwasaganya kyetwandiise. How can I really explain this for you? An epithet anyway, okubanga aina descriptive, aina ebintu ebinyonyola characteristics zaina okwasaganya. List y'ebintu byalina okweyisamu characteristics ez'omuntu, ebintu ebiri mentioned, ebintu ebyetaagisa ddala okubanga ogoberera, era ebimuleeta okubanga Dionysia yekwasaganya ne protogonos scripture nga bwetegeeza. Era ebintu bino byebyo wammanga byolaba. He has to have what is called primeval oba primeval nga kiki kyekitegeeza. In those things once kitegeeza resembling the earliest ages, nga afaanana nga we yali afaanana mu nsooka oba okufaanana oli in the original image. That's why they say he created us in his own image. That is called the primeval or the primeval. You have to resembling as the earliest ages in the history of the world. Then nga ino kuba two natured, aina nature biri. Mutogera to the two natures zirina kuba bweziti zentegeeza. Two natured aina okubanga aina the human nature and what they call the spiritual nature. That's they have preached this, that Jesus had the spiritual nature and then he descended here in a human nature, stuff stolen from here. So the human nature and then the spiritual nature. Again, these natures have to have the Y chromosome that determines the boys, and then the X chromosome, then it has to be the thrice born. Nga yazalibwa eyandibadde owokusatu. Have we heard of those things? How God had all these angels. You remember the seraphim, the cherubims. We have seraphims and then the cherubims. All of his, bebali mu ninth fold hierarchy eyaba angels. The seraphim, they take care of God. The cherubim, yamubera ku kido, who messed up the heavens and he caused the war, Najawan, and then was called maybe Lucifer. So the third born would be the birth of the Christ, according to theology dogma. Now the third born would be Jesus, accordingly. Because we had the sons of God sleeping with the Abana Babantu in Genesis. Then God decides to destroy the planet. There are already the sons who are the seraphim and the cherubims, the first ones as angels. That foreign hierarchy, the second one. Now the third birth would be that of the Christ. That's what they are giving. Chebalimu kuwa dainosha. I know kubanga thrice born. I know okubana bachik Lord. Bachik Lord. Nkugambye, this is tulimu esoteric knowledge that has been hidden. Era basic oba basicus lyerinya erya dainosha eddala. Dainosha the Lord. Christ the Lord. Now that is basic Lord. Then he has to be a savage. Omanyo bagamba savage kikiche kitegeeza oli abanga akuvumye. Savage olina okubanga oli fierce, violent and uncontrolled. To be savage babiwa dainosha. Oyinza okugamba it doesn't relate with the Jesus concept where they stole them. The man says, I didn't come to bring peace. Najja kuteekawo olutalo masekati g'omwana ne kitaawe ne mama. A person who says such a word is a savage. Okay? So the savagery is here one of the concepts given to Dinosia. Tulimukulawa, we are connecting the pieces to see where they stole all of these things. It has to be a savage, violent. He's not bringing peace. He's going to bring whatsoever war. So baba mutaddeko primeval, I know kufana nango weda. In the beginning he was and two nature, human nature and then the spiritual nature. Okay, the thrice born okuzalibwa ogwokusatu nga wakusatu. Kyenagambi hierarchy esoke yaba angels. If God made them the seraphims and the cherubims, then in etuba ne bayita ba Nephrim, those ones the sons of God yabaka nebebaka ne bawala b'abantu mu kitabo kya Genesis. That is in Genesis chapter 6, 7 and 8, to cause a flood to destroy. Those would be the sons of God. Nakubuza, go and ask your pastor, what are the names of the sons of God abajjao? Yet you are telling us his only begotten son. Yet in the Old Testament they say his sons bajja ne bebaka wano. Then even the first angels of the cherubim and then the seraphim bebatula mu ninth fold ya hierarchy eyaba malaika, born from God. So Jesus becomes the third born of all his sons, the thrice born, the Bachi Lord, Dinosia Lord, Christ the Lord, savage. Omuntu agenda oba violent wakavuyo nze ndese njawukana masekati g'abaana n'abazadde. First born, the ineffable, atayogerwako bigambo gambo, the secretive, the two-horned and then two-shaped. All of these come and begin to subscribe. Now, when I speak about the Orphic egg, I don't think abamucheka mwabuzedda. Mr. Producer, give us Orphic egg 1. We can at least have a look at that one. Orphic egg 1 and the images. Then olumala ojja twongera ne Orphic egg 2. That is the Orphic egg I'm speaking about. Wakafananya ko obadde tukalabanga. That is the image of the Orphic egg. Egi eryetooloddwa omusota naye tujja kukinyonyoka wajje baalijja. Damoli tuwe ku kyokubiri the Orphic egg 2 so that my people can understand. That is the egg we are speaking about eryetooloddwa omusota. wawe riva, what is the science behind this? Chichi ekiriyo, the secret knowledge, the esoteric knowledge emabegaawo kiki kye kitegeeza. Tujja kulaba weya gye biva. Matter of the fact bw'otunulira ku background yaffe gye tutudde, you see olabayo ebifaananyi bya that omusoto ogwo. We shall see where gye guva. Teya ku nsonda eyo, you see that snake somewhere. Kiki kye kitegeeza. So bwe tuddayo mu kitabo, Manly P. Hall yategeeza nti the serpent egg, the ancient symbol of the Orphic mysteries, was the serpent entwined egg, which signifies cosmos as encircled by the fiery creative spirit. Nti ekyo kabonero kabwe akalaga nga bwe wali omusoto gwetolodde eggiye eryandibadde entwined, lirina pati ennongo oba ensajja n'enkazi, nga litegeeza ensi gye twetoloddemu eyeetoloddwa omubiri omutonzi ogw'entiisa. The egg also represents the soul of the philosopher, the serpent of the mysteries. Eggi eryo era lyeyimirira omwoyo gw'oyo omwogezi w'ebigambo eby'amagezi bwe tuyita the serpent. Mubeere bagezigezi ng'abaana b'emisota from ancient Africa, Egypt, kubanga bwe bambala enkofiira bafarawo zonna nga ziriko kufi, zonna ziriko emisota. Diagram zaabwe ziri awo because of the knowledge. The egg also represents the soul of the philosopher, the serpent, the mysteries. Netugamba at the time of initiation, jukira mu 10 degrees of spiritual growth in Africa, esembayo eri preparedness and readiness for initiation. Mu kaseera k'okwanjulwa oba okwalulwa, the shell, ekyejji kino kikutuka, and man emerges from the embryonic state of physical existence, wherein he had remained through the fetal period of philosophic regeneration. That is what the Africans heard about the egg, okay? Bagambye ejjeryo on the second paragraph lyeyimirira omwoyo gw'oyo philosopher amagezi agandibadde aga serpent gwe mwandiise ng'omusota kwebyo ebitamanyikiddwa. Ti mu kaseera ako ak'okubeera ng'oyalulwa in initiation, the shell is broke. Ekisosonkole ky'eggi kikutuka, omuntu n'afuluma. Man emerges from the embryonic state of physical existence. N'ova mulimu mw'obadde ng'olinga ekyoyoyoyo munda mu lubuto lwa maamawo, from the embryonic state, from the embryo, cutting off from the umbilical cord, physical existence, wherein you had remained through mjetwita the fetal period of philosophic regeneration. Oba wagisigalamu ngeri mu kudicodinga mugwe ebigambo empisa ng'oli mu lubuto lwa maamawo, endaga butonde, biki byonna, oba in what we call the philosophical regeneration, to grow as your ancestors. In other words, oba decodinga gye tuyita African ancestor genetic memory bank. Muvayo mu lubuto. Tugende, let's scroll down. In the ancient Egyptian mysteries, mu byaffe by'ekifirika ebyedda, we find the god Ra alagibwa shown mu kitabo kya ritual, in the book of the dead, where they copy the Bible, Biblos, because nobody is alive who would have been in the Bible and is alive, nothing. So we are on plate, that is plate 17 in the book of the dead. That's page 50. I didn't give him the copy, sorry, of the book. Beaming his egg, nga Ra ejiri alimuli kumako omuliro, the sun. Era, and he starts off as soon as the god Shu, oba itibwa the solar energy, awakens and gives him impulse. Era avayo n'atandika amangu okutandika emirimu gye. Ra, supreme god Ra, alagibwa mu kitabo ekyo nga biminga mu ritual y'okuteeka omuliro ku jjirye, the sun. Era n'atandikira off, okutandikirawo mu kaseera katonda ayitibwa Shu oba owa solar system wazuukukira n'amuwa kye twandiise eyandibadde nga impulse. It would cause men to go and try to worship that one. There is an image called Aten. Give us that image of Aten. tujja kuba tugezaako ogirabaawo. Image of Athene tujja kuba tukiraba twekenenye what is speaking about awo wennyini mu nsoma zaffe zino. Athene, yes, that is Akhenaton, okay, with the worship of Ra, the supreme god, with his egg, which would be the sun, of which wali masekati gawe wali akagambula. If you see something as the snake that would be there, he starts off as soon as the god shoot the soul awakens ngazukuse kumacha namuwa kyetwandise impulse. After giving him impulse, it would be a sudden, strong, all unreflecting urge desire to act. Now that is a replication of Pharaoh Akhenaton, a later worship of one god called monotheism. That is in the year would be 1352 BCE. Okay? Right. So, in the book, he is the solar egg. Okay? Solar egg. Eralie G. Eriwa obulamu among the gods. In the book of the dead, in plate 13. Era, the solar god exclaims, Adam Nagamba, I'm the creative soul of the ancestral abyss. None sees my nest, none can break my egg. I am the Lord. Let's go back to the book and we see how it says. Okay. Now more impulse. Then let's scroll down to Labi. He is the solar egg. Yes, solar egg. The egg to which is given life among the gods. The solar god claims, I am the creative soul. Nzemu yomutonzi. Ogukwasaganya byonna ebiri mu bwengula. The celestial abyss. None sees my nest. Teri alaba kisosonko mwenebaka. None can break my egg. Teri asobola kumenya jiryange. I am the Lord. Nebagamba, among the Egyptians, the serpent was a symbol of divine wisdom, and with its tail in its mouth, called Ouroboros of eternity. Do we have the images of Ouroboros? Let's have Ouroboros. Let's go to the walls in Egypt and we see where they stole all the works from our ancestors. Let's have Ouroboros. Egypt 1, 2, and 3. We shall have Ouroboros 2. Now that is the serpent that is on the walls in the place called Dendera. Walls is that temples of Dendera. Now there, hold on to that one. Okay, after that one, Dendera on the temples eziraga the wisdom, eziraga this snake, the serpent rounding the egg over in there. Ouroboros, that is how they are now beginning to write the Medunature. Ngachiraga, the mouth of the snake is inside over the mouth. It's like it's all going. It's a rotation. You can't escape it away. Okay? Give us Ouroboros 2. On the leg we see. Yes. Are you seeing it? Biriku walls. These are on the walls that our ancestors created. Tulaba ku ntumbu eno waliyo omusana neri omusana. Chetuyise the two nature, the divine nature and the human nature. Your representation ye yawo buntu ne yachi. Entumbu ezo jova ne jogenda maso. Chigere je chitunudde maso. It's where you are heading. Nebyovamu emabega. So ebyemabega bidetermininga wa jogenda. It is the spiritual guidance of your foot. Wawogenda kubanga otambula. With Ouroboros, all the creation, the gods are guiding your steps. Wawogenda kubanga okolachi otambula. There is another one still there. Ouroboros, Egypt, rounding the head. Okay, that is the same drawing that would be represented, and try to draw it. That's what they mean. You have the nature, the two zeros that would represent the future and the past. And then we would have what we call, what determines your human nature and your spiritual nature. There is another one that rounds the head, Ouroboros, Egypt, that rounds the head of one of the dudes in there. Nacho jakubo chituwe chechetolo domu twe gw'omukulu oyo omu tubeere nga nakyo tugezaako okunnyonnyola omuntu, so that to give you the philosophical mind eyandibadde awo. You have that one of Egypt, it's called Oromboras Egypt. It has China ogwo omutwe ogwetolo. Yes, that one is very vital. Bw'okyekenneenya ali ku terefine, what it shows the blessings given to this person by the sun god Ra with this egg lyetoloddwa omusota. Okay, in the behind there is awanise engalo, emabega ku mutwe gwe awanise ebibatu bibiri, is a blessing from emabegawo. Then still in the front there is also the blessing, emikisa gikwaniriza eri ewalala gibadde gikuwerekera. Look at how, you know, that beard is called the royal beard. So with all their styles and the hair, being guided with the philosophical thinking and mindset that drives back to the supreme being Ra Al-Kepra. All of this information, we don't know how it is connected to the creation, but it is really created or connected to the creation. Let's proceed with the book. Tuyongere mu maaso n'ekitabo tubeere nga twekenneenya what does it really exactly kiddiramu wa ewalala. Bwe tuddayo mu kitabo kitugambye mu rituals z'aba Zoroaster, kali kabonero ka universe, the round egg is called the kabonero ka nsi. Ne tugamba tusobola okukasanga mu modern meaning eza ancient historical symbols as the serpent, nga tugitwala ng'omusota oba ensiriŋŋanyi, to be both eyandibadde ya enlightened creator, omutonzi alina amagezi ag'oku ntiko, mu form eyandibadde eya sperm. Okay, scroll up so that they can read that thing very well, so that they can read it very well. Kyambuseko waggulu on the book. Tusobola ogisanga mu both enlightened. Let's move up to there. We can find the modern meaning of the ancient esoteric symbol of the serpent worm to be both the enlightened creator in form of the sperm worm as it enters the woman's ovula or egg to create life. Tusobola okitwala nga wetulaba sperm weyingira mu ggi ly'omukazi okutondawo obulamu. Ne tugamba notice the lighting slab. You give us that thing of sperm and ovum. Sperm and ovum, we have that image. Sperm enters the ovum. Give it to us so that people can see what we are speaking about, how the esoteric knowledge has been hidden. Sperm. Yes. That is what I'm saying. Noticing a light that surrounds the event. That is how now that is taken using what we call electronic microscope. Nga sperms zigenda okukola ki to pierce the egg. That's how the sperm goes with its tail. Omukirogu n'omutwe, that is the flagellum. N'omutwe liri eggi mundamu n'abaana y'omukazi. So netugamba wekenenye light ekitangaala ekiri awo ku ggi nga sperm ejja okufuna kyobulaga mu mukazi olusa amanya nti afunye olubuto, wabaawo amaanyi ag'enjawulo. That is the energy we are speaking about, the light of the world yagajja. Nga it is said in Christian secret gnostic mysteries of generation and genealogy in the apate mukinemingiddwa mu Genesis chapter 3 verse 13. Mu Genesis chapter 3 okuva esura 3:13 lugamba and the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me and I did it. Omukazi Katonda n'amubuuza kiki kyokoze, n'amugamba nti munnange omusota guvuddeyo ne gunnimba, it beguiled me and I did it. It means the sperm came, she accepted, and the sperm came and it fused inside the egg, a G surrounded by the sperm as a serpent, ng'omusota. Ngabo sperm wagenda ng'olusota like that. So that was hidden in Genesis chapter 3 verse 13. Netugenda mu Genesis chapter 1. Mu Genesis chapter 1 verse 3 wagamba, and the spirit God moved upon the face of the water, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. If you can give us Genesis chapter 1 verse 3 also, tulabeyo, because Genesis chapter 3 verse 13, etulaze how the sperm came, the serpent beguiled me, beguiles the sperm, yamugiragira, it came, and I eat. After eating, you become ofuna okujula molubuto. In fact, she conceived, she has taken seed. Now in Genesis chapter 1 verse 3, wagamba nti, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. As you see, wetulabye lirye G, nti omwoyo gwa Katonda ni gutambula ku mazzi, ku face ya mazzi. Mbwate Katonda n'agamba likawabeewo ekitangala, era ne wabaawo ekitangala. Wetulabye wali eri sperm ng'engira over, the sperm moves through the water. It's transported by a medium jetuita semen, in terms of sperm, and then the vaginal fluid, they are carrying this. It is moving in the water. Ate wetuka ku G, it does that bombard, the piercing, ereta we chitangala. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And let there be light, and there was light. After the what? The Spirit of the God was moving on the water. Nagama wabewe chitangala, ere chitangala ne chibaawo. Because it was, the sperm was flowing, it went and pierced the egg. And then light came in there. That is all about esoteric knowledge about the Orphic egg. Wetuddayo mu kitabo mu China, ring eyetolodde, the ring between two serpents was the symbol of the world governed by the power and wisdom of the Creator. Mu China bo bagamba nti emisoto ogwo okwetoloola gegandibadde amaanyi, kabonero kakufuga, world governed, evugibwa amaanyi n'amagezi ag'omutonzi. Kwekwo kubanga balina serpent ali entwined around the Orphic egg, ng'ategeeza creation eyandibadde ey'ensi. Nenkugamba nali mpandiseko ku myth eza Orpheus, era are found to be a real Cretan Phoenician man ayitibwa Epimenides Gonosis. Ye yaleetawo ezo ezitibwa the Orpheus oba hymns eza Orpheus okuva mu kibuga ekitibwa ekya Gnosis, omuva Gonosis, who was considered as a Messiah and a Christ to both the Athenians ne Bakoritines. Naye nkugamba nti wetugenda mu maaso, let's still go back to the book, nga tugenda omaliriza mu maaso after. Okay, let's scroll down tugende where I have written before the mythical. We scroll down after China we done, no, there ngamba tuwandise before awo ku mythical Orpheus, era nagamba yali musajja mu Cretan abatero beera ku page yange, is a Cretan, real Cretan Phoenician man ayitibwa Epimenides Gonosis, era okuva mu kibuga ekya Konosis, omuva Gonosis, ye yali ali considered nga yetwala nga Messiah oba a Christ ow'abantu abava mu Athens, the Athenians. Athens is the capital, it would be in Greece, Athens, the capital of Greece, and from the Cretans abava mu Crete, ekizinga ekiri mu Mediterranean Sea, buli kyonna kyekikola, they were copying from the Africans. That's why the Greeks were batambuliranga okujja we basooka, then they would come in North Africa and study. Nenkugamba this is where I believe he developed these serpentine mysteries of the true initiation in the secrets of Gnosis on Mountain Ida. Nenkugamba wano bwenzikiriza nti ya developinga mysteries zino ez'omusota n'aziteeka mu kuinitiatinga okupya. Remember how the snake tempted the woman to eat the serpent? You remember how we've seen the sperm going in there. So through initiation eya secrets mu Gnosis mu lusozi oluyitibwa Mount Ida, in the cave of their great Zeus, the one who would be somehow related to Apollo. You know, Apollo means the black one, triumphatic and majestic. Era nenkugamba, which was located in ancient highlands of Crete. We scroll down tulabe akabonero, the symbology. Let's scroll still down. Let's scroll down. The symbology would later give rise ku bubonero obulala obwa Gnostic. The Gnostic would give rise later to other signs, but we say the symbology of the serpent and the egg of the Orphic mystery was most likely developed first from the solar egg of the Egyptians and passed to their brethren, the Phoenicians, so-called the people, sea people, Abakrite. The Egyptians later that concept a egg. I told you how they studied about blacks under Egyptology. Everything stolen and packaged. Nenkugamba kabonero kavayo ne kaleta Gnostic symbols and gods found all around the globe. Bakatonda ngomuli aitibwa Abraxas, nemubamu aitibwa Yadaraboth. Abo bonna nkimanyi mwagala okubamanyako naye obudde tebujja kubeera nga butusobozesa. I will get one time and discuss about the gods. Yadaraboth, Ororobas, we've seen Ororobas in Egypt. Fens, eyandibadde Dinosia. The Mundane egg, waloli baita Mundane egg by the Mundanites. Then to another you the Braham golden egg. Now that is about Brahamism. You find those of Lord Krishna. Now they do this in what is called the Shamiriyatara. Yokuna, then on that fold, Ngabaso Makama, they have that one. Then to the Durid egg by the Duriads. The the Midigad snake, Yanodic Idas. Then again in the Christian mysteries, what we call the Easter eggs. Can you give us the Easter eggs? Amajiga Easter. I don't think Christians know about Easter eggs. Can you find for us something, any image of Easter eggs? Then I'll tell you the origin again. Why do they have? In fact, they are those ones we call bunny rabbits. Okay? Or we call them Easter eggs. Easter eggs. I think Mr. Producer Jababa which financial nacha na good day kwevyo. Ebikwasaganya Easter eggs. Olusi bagaita Pashka eggs. Baga decoratinga gabane lanje ya blue, green, ne wala bagakozesanga gifts ku occasion za Easter. Easter eggs. Era gabera common mu kyetuyita the Easter tide oba it's called the Easter season. Oldest tradition bakozesa dye ne paint. Painting amajige nkoko chicken egg. Yes, those are Easter eggs. In Christianology, Easter eggs, they get them. The batandiko beranga baga paintinga, but it is traced back to Mesopotamia. And in addition, Asian traditions zigamba the staining is Easter eggs ogasigako color eya red. Ebisere bisingambu eba in memory for the blood of Christ. Shed as at the time of his crucifixion. Customary Easter egg tracing back to Mesopotamia. It spread in Russia, negenda mu Siberia through what is called the Orthodox churches, and later it came in Europe, later through the Catholic and the Protestant churches. It is influenced by pre-dynamistic periods in Egypt. It's where it comes from. It goes to Crete. From Crete, negena mu Mesopotamia. From Mesopotamia, it goes to Russia and Siberia. From Siberia, it comes to the Roman infidel homosexuals. In the Caligula temple, so-called the Vatican, the Protestants from Canterbury also adopted the doctrine, all stolen from ancient Africa. If you go to the history, those eggs, oga practicing in ancient rituals, bakozesanga tebaita the ostrich eggs, amajik basokozesanga nagachi, bakozesanga ga maya, era gamba edda ngokuwa ekyoya kya maya ngoli komando wa lutalo, walinga muga bachiwa genobo kabe babanga n'ekyoya kya maya kubanga kye baconducting sanga olutalo. Kati agamaji bagakozesanga mu Africa. The ritual goes back to 60,000 years. Emyaka emitwalo mukaga. Wetwogera emyaka emitwalo mukaga, there were no Europeans. It is the pre-dynastic period ya Egypt. The Genda Mesopotamia, and then the Christians bringing all of that. The Sumerians, they also begin to bring it, and the Christians come and copy those things. The ritual was now officialized by the church mu mwaka gwa 1610. Everyone had to have it as the Easter blessings of food, one for the egg with those that contain the lamb, bread and the new produce. Munsongeyo. Era they made a statement, Lord, let the grace of your blessings come upon these eggs, that they be healthful food to your faithful who eat them in thanksgiving for the resurrection of Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you forever and ever. That's how people like Kenneth Thompson's writing all these things. Those Easter eggs. Easter eggs. You look about them, go and Google, you find where they came from ancient Africa. Nagambye buli kimwe ekikyo bajja kibba bakiparagalizinge bakitwale bakikomyewo bakiguzola benga nga tebakyewandisemu nga bakisobezza nokisobya. That's the problem. Naye nkugamba waliwo a painting eyakolebwa Salvador Dali mu mwaka gwa 1943 etujjukiza eyitibwa Orphic egg. Ekifaananyi ekyo kimanyikiddwa nga the geopolitical child watching the birth of the new moon. There is that painting that we have, that image of Salvador Dali. Yes, that one, Salvador Dali, 1943. Encryptions of the church bakimanyiddwa nga the geopolitical child watching the birth of new man. Omwana ali mu kulaba enzalibwa y'omuntu omupya ng'ava mu G. So when they put the serpent around there, bw'kitunulira otandika ogamba kino nga nkitya, it is demonic. It is what? It is a code to show engeri how the sperm comes and is initiated into your mother's ovula or the ovum, and then neteekawo that spark y'ekitangala, that the light be. As the soul is moving on the water, in the semen, and then the other vaginal fluids to come inside to bring life. Amazi. So these people went and hid all the information. Buli wogitunulako okubagana bukubaganya. Mr. Producer jatuwa studio line. Tujja kubanga tufuna essimu ezo zonna ze munaba mukubye ku studio line yaffe. Tubeere nga twekenneenya ensonga ezo ku 0753 19 32 abadde mu kibiina ojja kuba oteesa naffe oba ojja kuba oyogera naffe ku nsonga ezo zetusobodde okubanga tulaba. TV Africa, halo. Hello, ani ono Sebo?
Nze Simbwa.
Sebo Simbwa.
Badde mbuuza. African code kubanga yasoma mu Bible Katonda abayudaaya. The African code waliwo ekika ky'abantu basinga okwagala oba abantu abaagala.
Ayagala is for the gods of Africans.
Wandi?
Aba Katonda w'Abafirika is the god for Africans. Because abalala bava mufe, the whites came from the black people as a result of mutation. You can't throw omwana wa pama mu ngozi tomusuula. Fe asoka the supreme being basookerako be baddugavu. The others fe tulina bakolerako ebirala. Kyova olaba buli kintu kyonna ekiri mu bbanga ekitambulawa nga bazungu bakiina kubaddengako omuddugavu nga ye mastermind. Tunulira abasajja nga gwe bayita Matiziringa, ye yayiye engeri gye batungamu engatto. Lukata abasajja nga Benjamin Benika, ye yakuba maapu ez'owuleza Washington DC n'ewalala. Tunulira Kwashi Abaroho, omukiga muna Uganda flight director wa NASA. Tunulira Philippe Migwal, omusajja yayiya internet up to now. Tunulira the Black Knight satellite yasoka mu bange y'abaddugavu eri myaka emitwa. Genda olabe Bomb of Mines. Everything byonna bwe bitambulira, it has to have a black person so that the European might benefit from it. But the blacks, they have lost the mark by not reclaiming what was theirs.
Katwalo kyembuuza ekirala. Why documentary gye nalaba bagamba nti pharaohs they used to practice incest to keep father show your blood in the family. Ne bano ba Europeans bwe bakikopa. Ate wonna bano mu Buganda Abaganda bo bakitegera nti kirina side effects ekikivaako. Nembuuza nti bamala kulaba abo ba ancient Egyptians ebyabatuukako bo ne bakyusa.
Okay. Ngenda kuba nkutegeeza how they would enter into to be a pharaoh. Mulaine gijogiramu gye baagiranga engeri gye baakipinganga that blood mubo benyini. So studio line kugambye eri open ku 07531932 tujja kuba tuyitira okwo, tujja kubanga tuteeseza okwo era tujja kubanga ndowooza kutuyisa ebirowoozo byaffe. TV Africa esebo gye baliko ani ono erinnya lye ery'ekiddugavu gwani esebo Kemigisha.
kakati olina gundi kiwasomesako mu medical n'ogamba nti test yagitamanyiki
eki
determine test ya HIV. Ogamba to test for antibodies, not the virus. Then at the end of the day, Uganda, how come these people who are tested, ARVs and life improve, they become better? Yes, it is actually in the it works from the virus.
Ngenda kuba nkutangaza muganda wange tovaako. Kale. TV Africa, hello? Hello? Esebo, gye baliko sebani ono?
Ono Kalinachi Benjamin.
Esebo Kalinachi.
Kyembuuzaako kakati binene ebitabo anti tulabye eby'Egyptians ne tulaba n'ebibeera mu lubuto lw'omukazi ebya ovulus sperm ate n'ebiri mu Bible byogambyeko so omwoyo gwa Katonda nkutambulira kungulu ku mazzi kati ki kyebigezaako okutegeeza ogezaako okutegeeza nti wabaddeko nga ntandika programu eno kati gwe wasigalidde dda ojja genda ku page osomeko stream kuba we nakuddizaayo mabega nina eddakiika 6 sisobola kuddiramu essebo. TV Africa, halo? Ani ono? Matuwa. Essebo. Programu ya Jazatenia. Kuanga siyo.
Essebo.
Ini kukira abantu abazungu be bakireta. Naye edda twali tusinga dini ki
kati
bateka kutegera poliisi olyala.
Okay, bayita Eye of Providence. Oyinayo jjajjawo yenna ewaka? Kati gwoba osooka omubuuzi twayinanga ddiini kisooka omuteekeko embeera eyo olyoka ojje mu kibiina kyaffe ng'olina ku idea waba talina then ojja kumanya how lost you are then tutandika okwevumbula kuba kati nja kugamba ng'okyalina zunguzungu disease ate onyige. TV Africa. Halo, ani ono?
Nze makudde Arafat.
Esebo mukulu makudde.
Nze makudde.
Esebo makudde nkuwulira. Ebiki? Bitabo nga ki? Anti kyebakola bakwata engero ezitali zaabwe ne bazibba ne bazifabricating ne bazoozaamu. Waliko nga tusoma piece of papers ku TV eno. Kati okyabuuza nga wasoma piece of papers tekyetaaga ekintu kyakweyolekera bweyolekezi ti everything is forgery, parallelized and forged. Okay, esimu zammwe katusooke tulabe ku nsonga z'ebibuuzo bino ebimu. Katufune abasembayo kale ku simu. TV Africa. Ani ono? Essebo gye baliko naani? Essebo gwani ono? Ani mumbere? Essebo. Theology. Okay. Ashe. Amen Ra Kepra. Okay. TV Africa, hello. Hello, Anyono. Mukuru Kabanda. Essebo Mukuru Kabanda. Wanji? Yaterera bulungi twali tuli mu bya herethi. We bali kubanga gyoli nawe wakyerabirako. Twali tusoma ku ngeri y'okulyamu ebintu n'okwejjanjaba munda mu mbuto zaffe, alusazi n'ebirala. Alusazawo na kituufu, we bali kubanga osoma n'oteeka mu nkola. Ashe. Essebo Mukulu Kabanda. Essebo zaawona kirungi kituufu kuba kyenali nsomesa kyemba manyiko ate kyentegeera. Oyo Mukulu Kabanda twali tusoma wano mu biseera nga tugenda tuva mu mwaka guli nga tusoma engeri gye tulina okulyamu n'okwejjako endwadde ezimu nembawa ku madagala agamu engeri gye mulina okugakozesa. Omukulu Mumbeki abuuziza theology, ensoma z'amadiini ago n'enzikiriza zatandikibwawa. But Greek mythologists batandika ezabwe before the Africans, but they didn't have all that much. Bo balinanga kye tuyita the secret knowledge nga bagawa abalala. Ne bwe tutunuulira the oldest bamuyita Hoseido, Hesiods, n'aba Greek mu mwaka gwa 700 BCE. Be batandika okuleeta kye tuyita the classical theology, owaabwe abeera nga atambulira kunono ezandibadde ez'okusoma amadiini gaabwe. Ne bagenda kuleeta the Hellenistic theology mu biseera bya Helen, muli ba Clinitheth n'aleeta hymn of Zeus mu 3rd century BCE. But biba proceeding, there are other teachings ezatwalibwa nga theology. Managamba theology is total ignorance and arrogance with wings. The Africans never practiced that up to when they were contaminated by the white people coming here. Omukulu abuuzizza abo test gye watugamba, nagamba eya Western blot etestinga antibodies, ne method gye bagamba eya PCR eyakolebwa emappinga zandibadde gundi za HIV etibwa polymerase chain reaction. Nanyini yo Karemuris agamba it doesn't do anything with what they call the HIV. Technique is used to amplify traces as a DNA, not RNA. So if the HIV is a retrovirus and it doesn't have a DNA, the PCR doesn't work. Konsongeyo, what they do, kiriche chikujjako the ARVs zikujjako immunity y'omubiri ne zibeera nga ze zikutegeerera. Kyovolaba if you miss out mu budde obulala, omubiri gwo guba weak. So you become an addict of a specific drug. And that specific drug anesoka eretawo kugamba ebange kujubisa. That's why with periods of time kubaku escorted bichi, all of those they call them other effects ezijja ne zitambulirako kundala nga baba bakucheckinga. The ARV itself is the real cause of the HIV. Ojja kulaba programs zaffe za secrets revealed, HIV revisited. Simbwa abafarao practicing incense teyebakanga ku mwana wo ba muganda we babanga babukojja. Era bw'okitunuulira nti naffe tuli ba Luganda ffe n'okwetoloola wano, ne not from a direct wa kasoli oba ekika ekyandibadde ekimu. Kye baakolanga, omuwala ye yayingizanga omulenzi mu lineage ey'okuba eya Farao. Omuwala wa Farao gwawasibwa, muwala we first born, omuwala oba omuwala gwasooka mu baana bazadde, oyo mulenzi amuwasa singa ono Farao avaawo oyo mulenzi yafuuka Faro we batyo we batambuzanga naye nga naye ayinza okuba distant relative eri emabega. Kati wano ekyokugamba nti Abaganda bakitegera ekyokugamba nti Kabaka ava mu lulyo lumu Muteesa ye yakikyusa asooka naga kati bonna bava mu ntumbwe zange naye mujja kweddira ku saidi ya maama so that Obwakabaka butambule mu bika byonna ebyandibadde ebya Buganda. But in actual sense we are all distant relatives. Wonna nga bw'okitegeera obadde ku TV Africa n'obudde ensonga ezimu sizimazeeyo bulungi obadde ne Grand Abbott mbadde ne muzukulu w'amazige producer waffe ng'ali mu kubalaga byonna nga bwe bitambudde tusinzidde wano makindye mu kizungu for the greatest good of Africa, Africa y'Abafirika, Black Power, Amen Ra Ashe.